The Secrets of Dumbledore is the third installment in the Fantastic Beasts franchise. It stars Jude and Eddie Redmayne and brings Matt Mikkelsen into the role of Grindelwald. Before we get into this, don't forget to hit that like button down below. It does wonders in getting my content out there. And if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to keep up to date with all my content. Professor Albus Dumbledore knows the powerful dark wizard Gellert Grindelwald is moving to seize control of the wizarding world. Unable to stop him alone, he entrusts Magizoologist Newt Scamander to lead an intrepid team of wizards and witches. They soon encounter an array of old and new beasts as they clash with Grindelwald's growing legion of followers. Thanks to the incredible team over at Warner Brothers, I had the incredible opportunity to catch up with the cast of the movie and put them to their test on their Wizarding World knowledge. If you want to take a look at this video, you can check it out via the link above or at the end of the video. Now, I think a lot of people out there have been fairly mixed on these Fantastic Beasts movies so far. The first one I really quite enjoyed. I thought it was decent. It wasn't the greatest thing ever, but it did some nice world building for the Wizarding World. It opened up some nice little narrative threads, opened up some nice little directions that this franchise could take. And I thought it was decent. You know, a nice innocent little family film that had some, you know, a nice little backbone to it. The second one, The Crimes of Grindelwald, did not enjoy that a single bit at all. Just immensely disliked that movie, and I will probably never ever watch it again. Suffice to say, I was not particularly excited about The Secrets of Dumbledore. This is not a movie I really had an enormous hype for. The last movie certainly squashed a lot of that kind of hype that I could have had behind this movie. But look, again, this is a franchise I have grown with since I was a kid. It's been there my whole life. So there's always something that draws me to these movies and makes me go, you know what, yeah, I'm definitely, there's some sort of level of excitement there in jumping into a new adventure from the Wizarding World. Thankfully, I will say this from the top, Secrets of Dumbledore totally outweighs the previous movie. Like, absolutely, 100%, completely outdoes it. You can see that they have tried to move in sort of newer directions, newer territories. The problems I had with the last movie, I think, again, is probably the issues that a lot of people had, is that it was very incoherent. There was a lot of stuff going on at once, too much to kind of keep up with. It was very confusing, very convoluted, very long, and just kind of uninteresting. And not much really happened, and what did happen, it was just far too much. I feel like with this new movie, they've really just kind of honed in on this one direction. There's this one story that they want to tell, this one avenue that they want to go down, and it's this more focused kind of adventure. And I think a lot of people will be actually really quite happy about that. This is a long movie. It runs at about 2.5 hours, so it is quite long. But I feel like this one warrants the length because it does its job in fleshing out its characters, in fleshing out its narrative, in actually focusing on this story, which is actually quite interesting and quite riveting. It certainly is a slow-burning film, and I know slow burners aren't for a lot of people, but I think in this case, this kind of almost sort of a course correction for this film. They have to take that time to really kind of build everything, build the narrative, build the characters. This picks up certain plot threads from the previous movies and it pays them off. It does answer some questions that we've had from the previous ones, but it also opens up a lot more questions. Now, I'm not going into spoiler territory here at all, but I feel like this movie does have a kind of open end to it. There's a lot of threads that are still left open by the end of this one, and I think in some respects it maybe opens up more questions than it answers. But I think that's okay because this has never been marketed as like the finale of a trilogy or, you know, the finale of this franchise or anything. We know that there are at least, I believe, 2 more of these movies on the way, so we're certainly pushing towards a finale, but this isn't it. This is sort of the middle act. Now, the character work in this film is fantastic. As I said, the character arcs from the previous movies pay off really well here. here, and we also get some great depth to a lot of these characters as well. In particular, of course, the guy whose name is in the title, Dumbledore. This is certainly Dumbledore's movie. Jude Law brings this really terrific depth to this character. He plays it so beautifully. We get to learn so many great things about Dumbledore and his past, and he makes a lot of things about his, what we know as his future, kind of make a little bit more sense. It gives more substance and backbone to this character. I think Jude Law did that just perfectly. Mads Mikkelsen is incredible here as Gellert Grindelwald. He delivers a substance to this character that we did not see in the Johnny Depp performance. This is not a kind of weird and wacky and eccentric version of this character. It's a really menacing and, quite frankly, terrifying Grindelwald, and that's what we need. And you just kind of sit there wishing, I just wish they had cast him from the beginning. Eddie Redmayne here, of course, as Newt Scamander is great too. The interesting thing in this, I feel like Newt gets kind of a smaller role. He is kind of pushed. I wouldn't say he's pushed right into the background, but I do feel like a lot of the spotlight is taken off him this time around, which I think is pretty good too, because this franchise is finding a different footing. It's finding a different direction. And this film in particular is certainly focused on Dumbledore and Grindelwald. And I feel like this is, again, probably the direction this franchise should have taken from the beginning. I guess this whole film, I feel like, just feels like a massive kind of course correction kind of thing. But Newt Scamander is there. He has some really great moments. He pulls together this great team to go up against Grindelwald. And it almost is really Western in nature. Or even, you go back to the Kurosawa, Seven Samurai, and, the Western iterations on that story, like the Magnificent Seven or stuff like The Searchers or something. You get this really great mythological element of building a team to go up against, these outlaws and these misfits and all this stuff. Something I did not expect from this movie, and it really, really surprised me, and I really, really love that about it. Of course, this leads to some really terrific duels and action sequences. I think probably some of the best kind of wizarding or magic duels that we've seen in any of the Wizarding World movies so far. I just think some of these moments are really, really terrific. Standout in this film for me is the wonderful Jessica Williams. She portrays Eulalie in this, or Lally as they call her, and her introductory sequence is out of this world. The moment that she steps on the screen, she is just absolutely terrific, and then she steals absolutely every single scene that she is in. That said, though, at the end of the day, this is not the greatest movie ever. It does have its issues. Again, it is slow. It is slowly burning. Maybe it is a touch too long. It could have been, 10, 15 minutes shorter maybe. Again, I did enjoy that slow burning aspect of it, but at some points it does feel maybe just a little bit too long. Again, the narrative, while it is a little bit more straightforward, it can be a little bit jumbled and a little bit confusing at some times, but certainly not as much as, The Crimes of Grindelwald was. But look, this is, again, not the greatest movie ever. It's certainly not the greatest movie in the Wizarding World franchise. I would probably put most of the Harry Potter movies above it still. But look, I did quite enjoy it, and particularly after the last one, that absolute dud, this is just a really refreshing change of pace. And it's not really that I feel like I love this movie, it's that I love the idea of where this movie could lead. What we could see in the next, 2, maybe plus Fantastic Beasts movies. That gets me really excited for the future of this franchise, and I think that's the best thing about this movie, because I was completely done with it, and I think a lot of people out there were as well. So in that respect, this movie does its job very, very, very well. And at that, I will be giving Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore a 3.5 out of 5. The Secrets of Dumbledore is an exciting and enjoyable Wizarding World adventure. Thankfully, leagues above the previous, it's probably the best Fantastic Beasts so far. Great character work, fun adventure, and amazing duels make this one that fans should really enjoy. Thanks again to the incredible team over at Warner Brothers for organising a very, very early screening of this film for the purposes of this review, and the incredible interview junket that I took part in. And thanks everybody out there for watching. I'll see you on the next one. I hope you enjoy the movie. Take it easy. Hey everyone, if you haven't yet, smash that big old subscribe button up on your screen to keep up to date with all my content, and hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon for as little as $1 a month for exclusive videos, early access content, and to get your name up on the screen. Thanks again for watching.